I think overall, on average, the general consensus has been that everything in Kaneohe Bay that is recovering is going to stay recovered at this point. I don't think it's going to go in the other direction. The colonies that have died have been documented, but from this point on, from what we see, there isn't any continued progression from the original bleaching event, whether some are still trying to recover, not sure if they're going to take a turn for the worse, but the colonies that we've tagged and looked at have generally overall been recovering. Some look like they're in really good shape. There are a few that have died. The Passalipora damicornis seems to be the major contender in the ones that have died. There also was a freshwater bleaching event that happened in the northern areas of the bay just before the thermal bleaching event happened. And so the areas that are on this part of the bay tend to be affected a little bit more than some of the southern parts. So Ku'ule Rogers and her lab have documented a lot of where the dead areas are coupled with the freshwater bleaching. We've been able to go back and look over pretty much a 3 to 4 month period what has happened with the bleaching on the colonies that we've tagged specifically. So there's over 50 colonies that we've selected against 4 patch reefs in the bay. Ku'ule did a little bit more of a quick survey where she was able to pretty much hit all of the patch reefs, and they were able to tell whether things tend to be recovering, and they're pretty much in an agreement with us that for the most part things seem to be recovering at this point. What we're wondering about in the future, especially what's coming up with the coral bleaching meeting, is that we're predicting more stress events like this. So if the ones that have recovered this year, will they have the same effect next year, or will it be worse for them since they've already been under a pretty serious event? So those are kind of all questions that we're trying to look forward to answering before another event like this happens. The surveys that have been done here pretty much show that there is more recovery at this point than there is mortality, which is good. Looking towards the future years, if there's continued thermal increase in water temperatures, continued stress to the bay through anthropogenic influence, like just damage from boating, from the invasive algae that's in the bay, stuff like that, coupled with a thermal event, tend to make the health of the reef go down overall. So all those things that we definitely have to look forward to in the future and be able to hopefully mitigate or prevent or do our best to try and reduce the amount of stressors that are happening to these really old and beautiful corals.